Hi, my name is Corey McGowan. I'm an actor that does not know movies. So every week, I sit down, I watch a movie or two, and I report back to you my honest thoughts and reviews. This is Monday Night Movies. Right. So today may be one of the busiest days of my life. I have a lot of things to do, and I only have 40 minutes to do it. So bear with me as we do this really speedy review of people we meet on vacation. So, our main character is Poppy. She is going to college in Boston and she's trying to get back home for the summer in Linfield, Ohio. She ends up finding that another student there who also goes to Boston just so happens to live and grow up in Linfield, Ohio. So, they decide to drive together, save some money, carpool, friendship, rainbows, all the above. Well, Poppy ends up showing an hour late, and our other main character, Alex, was not happy because he's very type A and he likes his schedules. I can't even blame him for being upset. You're an hour late. They end up becoming and talking and yapping all the above, and things just keep going wrong. Everything goes wrong. Poppy ends up locking her car keys in the vehicle, and they have to spend the night in a motel. And Alex is even more frustrated, and just things are not looking good for them. And my only conversation piece I had to add to this is if you guys locked your keys in the car and you're shown in the hotel with brand new pajamas and clothes for the next day, then how did you get your clothes? Just food for thought. Anyways, on their way home, they start discussing if you could go anywhere, where would you go? And Alex says, I'd like to go to Boston. Poppy says, the place where we just came from. And he's like, okay, well, I'd like to go to Linfield, Ohio. She's like, the place where we're going and grew up. Pick something else. And he's like, I've always wanted to go to Canada. I've never been camping. I've never been on a plane. I'd really like to. And she's like, sick, respectable. Well, they end up getting to their destination. They stay good friends. They actually become friends at college. And then they actually make a trip to Canada the next summer to go camping together, where things also keep going wrong in the most delightful way this time because they like each other and they're fun. It's dandy. Um, Poppy ends up meeting a very attractive tour guide, Lucas Gage. Lucas Gage is in everything. So she ends up finding a very attractive tour guide and maybe wants to hang out with him, if you catch my drift. And they end up detouring from their plans to go to his campsite. Alex is kind of reluctant, but he's like, let me be a wingman. Let me help my girl out and get some. So he ends up going to this camp, and Poppy is hitting it off with Lucas Gage. And Poppy's like, get out of here. I want to be with my man. Go do something. There's a cute girl over there. And Alex ends up talking to this girl. They decide to go skinny dipping. So they're going skinny dipping and along with her friends, and they're all taking their clothes off very far away from the water. And Alex is like, these idiots. Like, if you're gonna get naked, you might as well just take it off right next to the water because you'll just get out of the water and then immediately get dressed. It's so much quicker. That's not what happened. Everyone came back in from skinny dipping, got their clothes on, and decided to go do something else. And he realized that his clothes were washed away with the current, and that's why you don't leave your clothes right next to the water. What are you doing? So, Alex is trying to get back to his tent so he can get more clothes, but he can't remember which tent is his. They all look identical. So he ends up finding Poppy and he's like, Poppy, help me. I'm naked. I'm in the nude. I'm naked and afraid. I need some help. And she's like, okay. So she ends up leaving her hookup with Lucas Gage, and things weren't really working out for her there. Anyway, it seemed like these things weren't really flowing. And she's like, yeah, actually, get me out of here. So they end up going back to their tent. They're having a marvelous little time just talking and reminiscing on the crazy day that they just had together. And they decide that every single summer for 1 week, no matter who they're dating, what they're doing, who they're seeing, they're going to go on a trip together. And it's never going to stop. They're going to always be best friends forever. And they do that. They actually do it for 8 years. That's crazy. That's 8 years of dedication. So, voila. So we're going to flash forward a little bit here. So Poppy is now a traveling author. She goes to these amazing destinations and goes off and to like Barcelona and Greece and Italy and California and all these amazing little places, reports back to her desk, writes about it, and then hops on a plane again to do it all over. She is very accomplished, very successful. Alex is on his way to become a teacher and an educator. So things are just really exciting. But the bad thing is that they're no longer friends. So the whole story is us piecing together, why aren't they friends anymore? We get to see all these amazing vacations, but what happened to them? So let's and I also explained that part, first of all, because it's important, but second of all, that's how they pay for all these extravagant trips. Canada was out of their own pocket, but their next trip they go on is New Orleans. So in New Orleans, they pretend to be a newlywed couple and they just get into the craziest little shenanigans, and they're telling everybody that they're a newlywed couple so that they can get free stuff because they're broke. And you know what? I respect the grind. So they end up meeting another newlywed couple, and they're super lovely, and they end up talking about like their first dance. And Poppy is like, oh my gosh, my husband, he actually works for the CIA, and he's actually he has a really big passion for dance, and he choreographed our entire first dance song. And the newlywed couple is like, oh my gosh, show it to me, Rachel, please. So they're lying, they don't have a dance, so they make it up. And oh my gosh, chemistry bouncing off the walls. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Love them. And one thing I do have to say is, like, as an actor, it doesn't matter how high your name is on a call sheet or how many lines you have or if your name or face is on the poster, or it doesn't matter how big of a character you are in like retrospect. It's about the impact that you make on the audience. And I think the perfect example of this is the bartender in this scene. I don't even think he had a name. I think he said 2 words in total. But when I think about people we meet on vacation, I immediately think about the New Orleans scene and how amazing that bartender was. I love that little guy. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. So I thought he was so funny. I love you. So they end up going and dancing and partying it up. They share a very intimate moment. Well, on their way back to their hotel room, Poppy ends up twisting her ankle, and Alex chivalrously gives her a piggyback ride. So Poppy actually does have a boyfriend at this point. And Alex has an on again, off again girlfriend. And currently they're off, but Poppy's, dating her boyfriend. So they get back, and then Poppy's boyfriend's there, and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, what are you doing here? Like, I thought you couldn't make it to our trip. And he's like, no, I really wanted to take some time out to come and see you. Like, I missed you, whatever. And then he's like, Alex, back off. Don't piggyback with my girl. And Alex is like, she hurt her ankle. And the boyfriend got really weird. It was not very fun. And okay, I'm going to put it out here. I get why the boyfriend was weird about it, because you're on a trip with his girlfriend. And also, maybe Alex and Poppy don't always have the best boundary setting when it comes to each other for obvious reasons that we will later talk about. So I get it. But then their next trip, they go to New Orleans. Sorry, no. They go to Norway. There's too many. They go to Norway. And the day of Poppy and Alex's flight, Poppy gets so crazy sick. Crazy sick. She can't go, but she encourages Alex to go by himself. She's like, the ticket's already paid for. Please go, do all the things. And Alex decides to not go, and he gets to Poppy's apartment and takes care of her for the whole week while she's sick. Okay, so he takes care of her while she's sick, and that's how they spend their entire vacation. And Alex later states that Norway was his favorite vacation because he just got to spend time with her. Don't talk to me right now. I'm mourning. So I'm mourning that it wasn't me. I can't. So you may be wondering, what was the trip that ruined their friendship? California. I actually believe that's where they're going. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you know how I said earlier that regardless of who they were dating, what was going on, that they were always going to go on a trip together? That's what's happening. They both have partners, so they're bringing them along. Poppy is dating a gentleman named Trey, and Alex is dating this girl named Sarah. If you can hear my birds, they're right next to me, and they're feeling very boisterous right now, huh? Yes. Thank you. So they meet, they're partners, and it's weird and awkward and not fun. The chemistry is lack thereof, and they decide to go their separate ways after drinking some wine and trying to loosen up, and it just doesn't work, so they go to bed. Poppy ends up going by the pool with her boyfriend Trey. She ends up getting really sick. She goes upstairs. She now starts blowing up Alex's phone. And his girlfriend is like, hey, you know what? Go check on her. Go help her. She's your friend. Sarah, the woman you are, I love you. So Alex goes and checks on Poppy, and Poppy's freaking out. She thinks she's pregnant with Trey's baby. So they go and take a pregnancy test. It is negative. She's not pregnant. She's just having a little bit of tummy troubles. That's okay. They start crying. There's a lot of stress in the situation. They're feeling very overwhelmed, understandable. Pregnancy scares are scary for a reason. So they end up hugging. Poppy tries kissing Alex. One thing I have to say is if someone was trying to kiss me and I was in a relationship, I think the first thing I would say is, well, I'm dating someone. Don't do that. Something to that degree. But you know what Alex says? What am I to you? What am I to you? Not, oh, please don't do that. I don't want to. What am I to you? So, whatever. It's fine. Poppy's like, you're my friend. You just tried to kiss him. He's not your friend. So she's like, you're my friend. You're my friend. And he's like, you know what? We need to go to bed. Get away. So Poppy wakes up the next morning, a little down in the dumps, and Alex is just kicking her while she's down because Sarah comes around the corner with a big ring on her finger. Poppy ends up pulling Alex aside, and she's like, why didn't you tell me you were even going to propose? What's happening? I thought we were best friends. And he's like, you know what? I just don't think we should talk anymore. Like, this is getting a bit weird. And she's like, you know what? No more vacations. We're not friends anymore. Well, so now it's 2 years later. Poppy's best friend, who was also Alex's brother, is getting married. So, very exciting news. And she almost doesn't go until she realizes that Alex is going to be there and she really misses her friend. So she's like, maybe if I go on this trip, I get to support my best friend's wedding, but I also get to go see the possible man of my dreams, Tom Blythe. Did I mention that this was played by Tom Blythe? So she ends up going to the wedding. She runs into Alex at the airport. She's singing very loudly. He comments on it. And also, I don't mind a little whistle, a little hum, a little tune to be sung. But you're like belting in the middle of an airport. What are we doing? I do love Poppy though. She's really fun. So Alex is kind of shocked to see her, and he's like, you know what? Do you want to go and get a cab together? And she's like, oh, sure. Like, I would love that. This other things are awkward, but they're excited to see each other. And then Poppy's like, I'm gonna go take my bags to my room, and Alex is like, no, girl, I got you. He ends up helping her, gets everything set up, and then finds that her AC in her hotel room is broken. He tries fixing it, hurts his back, and has to stay in her apartment or hotel room. And Poppy gets mad at him because she's like, I never asked you to help me with my AC. I didn't ask you to help with my bag. She said, I really appreciate the taxi ride, but not necessary. She's like, will you please just leave? Get away. I'm trying to be respectful. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier. The real ammunition for her to go is because she found out that Alex broke off his engagement with his girlfriend. So she was like, I have a chance. So she ends up talking to him while he's, on the couch and trying to recover. And she's like, so why did you and Sarah break up? And he's like, I don't want to talk about this right now. She's like, okay. And then later on, she tries bringing it up again, and he like bites her head off about it. And she's like, I know that we aren't like as close as we used to be, but we were best friends for a decade. I feel like you should have sent me a text telling me that you were no longer together and that there was a big life change. She's like, it really hurt my feelings that you didn't talk to me. Fair point. Fair point. So she and him, they start bonding, and they just realize, wow, I really missed you. I missed you more. Let's be friends. Let's continue doing this thing. Poppy ends up getting invited by Alex to the wedding rehearsal. And she shows up wearing the smoke show of a dress. She's stunning. Stunning. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. So she pulls up, and the song August by Taylor Swift starts playing the moment she walks through the door. Don't talk to me right now. Oh my gosh. It was literally perfect. Um, it was a beautiful moment. So then they end up spending the evening together, and they're dancing and they're having so much fun. And then they end up getting into a big argument on the way home because these two just can't seem to stay happy. They get into a big argument. Alex goes in the other direction. Poppy goes up to her room and she's like, I'm angry. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Well, Alex is like, I'm wrong. I've got to go get the girl. He ends up running back upstairs and gets into her hotel room. But how did he get in if he doesn't have a key and the door wasn't open? I don't know. Movie magic. Figure it out. They end up getting into a big argument. The argument leads into a heated kiss. They end up doing more than that, but like that's awesome. Good for them. So they're finally together, and he's like, will you be my official date for the wedding tomorrow? And she's like, I would love that. They're together. They're in it. They go to the wedding, and it's a beautiful day. And Alex's brother gets married, and Poppy has the man of her dreams. Everything's great. They're slow dancing, partying. Oh my goodness, I love my life. And Alex is like, what's the next big step for us? And Poppy said, you know what? I just feel like I'm living in a dream right now. And I really just want to enjoy how good this feels. We can talk about the scary stuff later. But for right now, I just really want to enjoy this time with you. And Alex is like, you know what? We're done. I'm breaking up with you. They dated for a total day and a half. Flash forward again. Poppy, sad, hops on a plane to LAX with nothing but a dream and a cardigan. Goes back home. And she's just really thinking, I travel the world, I do all of these big things, I have such a perfect life, I date beautiful men, I have a gorgeous job, I get paid well. I have nothing in my life to complain about, but yet I'm so unsatisfied with the life that I've chosen for myself. So she decides that she wants to make a change. She ends up sending a letter to her boss saying that she just no longer wants to work there. I forgot the word for it.
Hey, this is editing, Corey. The word that I was looking for was resignation letter. Anyway, back to the scheduled program.
But she decides, I need to quit. Her boss is sad to see her go, but lets her. And she's like, I wish you the best in all your endeavors. And Poppy realizes that she's never really stayed in one place long enough to feel comfortable. She's always been kind of on the run. And she's like, maybe home isn't a destination, maybe it's a person. So she ends up going back to Linfield, Ohio, the place that she hates. But she's like, it has the man that I love in it. So she goes and she hunts down Tom Blythe, literally is running after him in the middle of the road, in the middle of a walking intersection, almost gets hit by a car. She doesn't. They block traffic as they profess their love from one another. And she's like, I love you. I want to spend a life with you. I want to do all of the things. And Alex is like, hell yeah. So they get together, they stay together. Alex ends up going to school, he gets his PhD, he ends up becoming a college professor and is super accomplished. And Poppy has the man of her dreams and a wiener dog. It's all good, good, good things. I think one of my favorite things that I took about from this story was that the same place that you're running away from is the same place people are trying to get to. She has this perfect life and yet doesn't want it, and realized that she wanted something grounded, wanted to feel at home with the person that she's with. I think it's very beautiful that she found satisfaction in her own life without losing purpose or meaning. I really loved all the characters. I thought the cast was really funny. Alex and Poppy, and more specifics, Tom Blythe and Emily Bader had this beautiful chemistry with one another. I felt like they were awesome. I also think that I know it's an actor's job to literally act out the character and do exactly what they're supposed to do. That's our jobs. But I really liked Emily Bader's portrayal on Poppy because a lot of times you see a optimistic, bubbly, um, character, and it's like Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony. It's just a little too much. I felt like Emily Bader played her in a way that was just so beautifully grounded, and it was a perfect mix of a human being, but also just being really enthusiastic. I think sometimes people take it too far. And also, Tom Blythe did the same thing with his. He could have easily taken the grumpy character and made him super duper unlikable, but he was found very charming and interesting to watch. And I just really enjoyed everyone's portrayals of their character. I would totally watch it again. I actually watched this on like a weeknight, and I was like, I have to get on a train to like somewhere. I have to go on a vacation now. I have to go somewhere. It was just a beautiful movie. I totally recommend it. Was it a perfect movie? No, but the vibes were there, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. So I want to thank you guys all for your time today. Thank you for having me, and I'm very grateful you guys stuck around this long. If you want to support my social medias, they're in my bio. If you don't, cool. Just want to stalk it in peace and go on, you can. This is my YouTube. If you want to follow and like it or comment on what movie I should watch next, I would love to. Um, so thank you so much. Our first episode is officially done.